Welcome, friends of Ai4Autism, and we continue our series of interviews where we hear from members of our community and listen to their stories. We have a fascinating guest with us today. Mark is a heavy goods vehicle driver living and working in London, and Mark is also a father of 6 children, one who is autistic. And today we'll be hearing his story and we'll get a chance to learn from his experiences. So please join me in welcoming Mark.
Right.
Hey Mark, how's it going?
Not too bad. Very well, thanks.
Fantastic. Well, Mark, thanks for being here with us today. We'll jump straight into it. Could you tell us about your son and how old he was when he was diagnosed as autistic?
Yeah, Max is now 19. No, he's going to be 19 next month, February. He got diagnosed with autism just before he was 3. So he had an early diagnosis.
An early
Because
diagnosis.
he was number 5. Child number 5. Obviously, my wife so had a lot of experience with children, so we could see at a very early age that things weren't quite right.
And would you like to describe some of the characteristics he exhibited when he was young?
Yes, one of the main ones we noticed is when he was when you first have a little baby, this like you make noises and you call their name. They obviously don't recognize their name, but they as they grow, they look at you when you call them, and he wasn't responding. One of the normal things what they do is have a hearing test. Go to the doctors and they give them a hearing test, and that kind of came out fine. So it wasn't that. So we didn't really know what it was. And as we developed, we could notice that he was developing very slowly. Like he wouldn't look at you, look through you. That's why we went to the hearing test. So, but to be honest, even before he was born, my wife used to say to me, when she was in the bath, when ladies sit in the bath when they're pregnant, baby tends to move because of the motion of the water and the light. He never moved, so she was always very nervous about the birth because he didn't move a lot in the stomach. So she was nervous. But so, like I said, so he would be sitting there rocking and looking through you and not really responding. So it was
That's incredible. And after discovering he was autistic, how did you feel and how did you change as a person and as a father?
I was a bit numb, to be honest. I was very numb. As my wife would say, I was very hands-on with Max because he used to scream a hell of a lot, more than a normal baby. He would scream and scream and scream. And normally babies take them out in the buggy, and that rocking motion, walking, it calms them down. It didn't used to calm him down. He used to scream. I used to come home from work, and my wife used to scream all day. I was taking him to walk in the buggy. I should walk for miles, and eventually it did calm down, but it was really, you could sort of know there was something. Even the neighbours at the time used to laugh and say, "That's okay." Constant screaming. So.
That's incredible. And how were family and friends, you've mentioned your neighbours, how were families and friends towards you and your son after discovering he was autistic?
See, I think because we had other children, people were quite okay. They, we told me he's autistic. They obviously at that time didn't realise autism so much, not so much as nowadays. So people were quite okay. But I imagine if you're a parent of that first child, people that will judge you more. If you had other children, I noticed there was less judgment. So yeah, people treated us okay, to be honest.
Oh, well, that's
like back in the day, they never understood it as much.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's just improving all the time. The understanding of autism and the spectrum.
Yeah. And growing up, what were some of the challenges that Max faced and that you faced as he was growing up?
Yeah, growing up, he was very. He was quiet, but then he was difficult at the same time. We got him in a nursery filled with autistic children, which was fantastic in Stonebridge, Faywood. That was really good for him, and they were really supportive. But once, because he was high functioning, they diagnosed him with high functioning autism.
Yeah.
We decided to put him in a state school, not a special school, because he you know, it wasn't severe enough to go to a special school. You know, we thought he fit in that in the mainstream, and so in the mainstream school, it was very challenging for him. He would sort of. I remember one day he was just weeing the playground, you know, oblivious to everything around him. You can imagine everyone staring at him and looking. You know, just he needed to go to the toilet, so he went to the toilet. So he just didn't realise he needed to go to the toilet. He just where he was in the playground. So you can imagine that sort of scene. It was very challenging for him. You know, he quite a bit of a loner. He had some friends. He was lucky, really, because I've known other autistic children lower down on the spectrum, and they had it a lot tougher. Me and my wife used to always say, "We don't know if we prefer to be lower, because when you're high spectrum, people look at you differently. Because when it's like in society, if you see someone who can obviously see there's something not quite right, you treat them accordingly because you can see with the autism, it's quite hidden. If you're higher up on the spectrum, it's even more hidden. So if you want to meet Max, your pair's okay, you know, until you get to know him a little bit, then you may know it's not quite, you know, something not quite right. But at the first sight, you wouldn't know. So people would look at him and he would be acting strange sometimes, and people look at him as a naughty boy, like other parents at the school, things like that.
Well, that's one of the other questions I was going to ask. While he was growing up, what was it like for him interacting with other people, with adults, with other children?
Yeah. With other children, playtime, playtime was quite okay, I suppose, but sometimes he would, because with Max, it was more of his understanding. His vocabulary has always been good. That's what throws a lot of people. You meet him for the first time and you talk to, you wouldn't know. It's his understanding. You talk to him, it doesn't seem to go through sometimes. That's for Max. That was more his that is also that was more for his autism than anything else. His understanding. And he had some friends. He used to have play days. He went to parties. So for Max, it wasn't that severe for him really, but it was still really challenging for him. And dealing with adults, I think he was good with adults, to be honest, even to this day. Well, he's nearly 19 now, so, you know, things have changed. And unfortunately, he doesn't recognise his autism. As he's got older, he's felt he don't think he's autistic, he don't think he's autistic. Which is quite a challenge, really, because you can still see, even though he's older now, that he's got limitations.
Sorry, Mark, you went quiet right at the end over there.
Oh, right, sorry, I don't know what
Here we go.
He don't feel that he's autistic now. Now he's older.
Okay.
He thinks he's got the wrong diagnosis.
I see. Because that's another thing I wanted to ask you now that he's older. I believe he had some challenges with the law and something happened. Would you like to tell us a bit about that, Mark?
Well, Max had a lot of challenges. As he got older, he got more difficult. His teenage years, he got really challenging. I remember gaming for Arvid. Gaming was really hard, trying to keep him from the 18s when he was 13, 14. He just couldn't understand why he wasn't allowed to play any game. And we had a lot of challenges with that, to be honest. He got really aggressive. He went for a really terrible time in his teenagers. He's sort of, over the last couple of years, he's just come out of it, to be honest. But, you know, when he was 14, things really escalated. He wouldn't listen to no rules. You know, he was kicking off all the time, shouting, and wouldn't listen. You know, it was terrible. And when he got to 14, that's when the worst time of our lives, because he would start going out. They wasn't allowed. He wouldn't trust where he was going. And he got involved in county lines, unfortunately. And he went missing. Got the police involved. He was in Ipswich. You know, you can imagine we went through hell. He went missing. Police got involved. They found him. He went missing again, so he got taken into care. And he was still doing it. And but we got him back eventually. He was in care for about 9 months. Got him back, and And things sort of started to calm down. And then he's got work. He's got work now, works in construction now. He used to carry knives. I'm jumping quite forward, but going back to when he was young, primary school was very difficult. We moved into school quite a lot because it wasn't working out. You know, getting the help. He had a full statement, which was quite rare, especially nowadays, to have a full statement. Schools tend not to give you children a full statement because with that, they have to have each member of staff. It's just a lot of money, even though they get money from the council. We found growing up was very difficult. So anyway, when we moved to schools for him a few times in primary schools because he wasn't really getting the support he thought he deserved. Because basically, what school used to do, Max had a full statement, so he's supposed to have a learning support system. So they get a learning support system, they get funding from the council, and obviously, they use that learning support system, the whole class. We found that Max wasn't really getting what he was supposed to get.
Okay.
You know, because if a teacher's got a class of 30, they get someone with a full statement, they get learning support system, they rub their hands. Well, we've got a classroom system now, I have to pay for it. And they use it, the whole class, and that's what it's about. So we found that out through the years, and we moved schools. And in one of the schools he moved to, obviously it was difficult for him, starting a new school. With autistic people, they need, you know, they need to know that everything's in place. When things move, you know, it's very difficult for them, as you know. So he started this school, done a year there. Then the next year, they moved his class without telling us. And we found out in the summer holidays, Max happened to say, we had emergency meetings and they wouldn't back down, they were moving him. And he started this new school, so we thought, no, so we took him out, started another school. Anyway, went to secondary school, and that's when really started going downhill. He started carrying a knife. He got really, really good school. They done the best they could do, but he got caught with a knife. It was zero tolerance, so they had to expel him. And then we got him in a specialist school. By this time, he was 13, and that wasn't very much. We didn't think much of that, to be honest. It was very violent. You know, it was a very small setting, which was good. But so anyway, that didn't really work out, and we moved him so many times. But fast forward now, nearly 19, the last year, he got his CSC card, which is the card you need now to do labouring. Like the old days, anyone can do labouring now, you need the CSC card. He got that, and he's been working. And then, unfortunately, his past caught up with him. He got caught carrying a knife last year. That was the year before, I think. And that caught up with him, and he got a custodial sentence. It was zero. That was the second time. The first time was at school. The second, which I didn't think would count really, to be honest. The second time was when he was about 16. So 2 strikes. So he's just done 3 months. When was scrubs. And he just come out like I was before. Just come out, and you can imagine we were really worried about that because that's an adult prison. He was only 18, one of the youngest in there. So you can imagine he was really worried about that. Luckily, thank God that he's come out. He was phoning him every day. He's phoning us every day. We had contact with him, and he's out and he's okay. And luckily, so we come out last Thursday, and before he went in, he had a job, like I said, on the building site. He had a really good boss. His boss promised him that he'd have a job when he comes out. And he came out on Thursday. He started this morning, Monday, going to work now. So I'm really, really pleased.
Well, that's really good to hear.
I'm really, really pleased because that keep him out of trouble. But to be honest, I think he's passed all his antics from when he was young. He just wanted to work and earn some money, and so. So that was a lot.
Well, it sounds like you can't imagine as well as a parent, a concerned parent, seeing him go through this and go into prison for carrying knives. Is it something that he did consciously, knowing it was against the law? And
yes, he did know, because we used to find knives, we used to argue, I used to throw them away. I used to talk to him.
Okay.
So he knew the rule. He knew that it was against the law, but he's done some things in his past and worried about people attacking him. Yeah, things like that. So he did know.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that fascinating story, Mark. I mean, with your experience as a father to Max and a father to an autistic child, are you already having a lovely interview with us, helping us raise awareness? Have you also done other things to raise awareness, like talking to people and stuff?
Yes, me and my wife done a video to the police last year about what this video was about when young people first get arrested and they get taken into custody. They and it looks like this young person's going to go down the wrong path. It was about county lines and things like that, and what us as a parents should look out for. You know, when the kids are going down that road. So we've done that video for the police, and they're going to show it to parents as well, when they're coming to when they're coming to the police station to see their child. We've done that. I haven't done anything else to do with autism as such.
Well, thank you very much. Now, does Max, I know you said he used to lash out when he was in his early teens. Does he have any sensory sensitivity issues you're aware of?
Yes, I think as an older teenager now, and even throughout his life, he doesn't like tube. I try to talk to him about it. Like if he has to travel on the tube, he doesn't like to travel on the tube. He doesn't mind buses. I've never got it out of him. Why? Sometimes when like now, you ask him questions, he gets angry. He don't want to talk, he just won't talk. So it's really hard to converse with him on subjects like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. When he was younger, when he was younger, thinking about his sensory issues, certain textures of food. This is when he was really a young child. Certain textures of food he didn't like. I remember tomato ketchup he never liked, even the look of it, which was quite strange. Yeah.
Well, as you might be aware, that we're currently raising awareness to build a tool to help people with sensory sensitivity issues and to help identify what triggers them. Would a tool like this have helped you and your son while Max was growing up?
I don't know if it would have helped then, but think of nowadays it would help because everyone's got mobile phones, everyone's got internet connection and everything else. So back then, nearly 20 years ago, possibly not. Now everyone's got a smartphone, so it'd be a great help for people. I would have thought nowadays.
Well, that's really encouraging and positive to hear. I mean, thank you. Mark, is there a message you'd like to send out to our audience about autism, to all the parents, and what it's like to have a child on the spectrum?
Yes, I like communication. Obviously, is really important, and obviously with someone with autism, communication is quite difficult. You've got to keep the dialogue all the way through. You find sometimes you say nothing because you don't want to upset your child, but you really need to talk as much as possible. And I thought I'd done a really good job bringing him up. I try and talk to him. And to be honest, he still went down that path as a teenager. And I've not touched on his brothers and sisters. He had a good support network, Max had. He had two big brothers really done well in their life, both got degrees, and even his sisters. He had a really good support network, but he still was fixated because he was fixated with knives. He was always fixated with the wrong things. That was my son, which is unfortunate because a lot of autistic people are fixated with positive things, which is great. He's a good artist, but if he fixated on that more, it would have helped him. But it was all the wrong things, all the gaming. You just think he's 19. When he was a teenager, all the gaming, all the violence. I used to, like I said, I used to fight with him over that, not physically, obviously, but just verbally and argue. But all I can say to parents, just don't give up. You can't give up on your autistic child because we've been through so much negativity with Max. He's come to the other side, hopefully now. But don't give up. That's what I would say. Don't give up because you can imagine and I used to always, and I'll say this to parents. Some parents kick their children out, and I've never done that. But it's one time where I did tell him to go. He brought a girl home. I think this was before, like I said to you about the county lines. And I said, get out. I didn't mean leave. I said, get out, because he had a girl, and it seemed like he was doing something inappropriate, with screaming and whatever. I said, get out, and I kicked the door down, and I had to get out. And that's when he went and never came back. So I didn't actually mean leave. Just get out. And we had his younger sister was there at the time. So don't kick out your children. You've got to keep them in. I didn't mean to then, but that's the way he interpreted. And then that's when he went and never come back. He went and got involved in county lines. So, I've had a word with him about that, and I said, I didn't mean to go then. Just get out of the house, down sort of thing. So always be there for your kids, and never kick them out. Be there for them, keep the communication going.
It's really powerful there, Mark. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the time you've given us today for this interview. If our audience wanted to find more about you, are you online on social media or anything?
I'm on Facebook. I don't use it actually. No, I don't use Facebook. Yeah. I'm a bit. I'm getting a bit past it. Yeah.
That's fine. Thank you so much once again. And a big thank you to everyone at home watching this as well. If you liked what you saw and you want to share your story, get in touch with us and let's put your voice out there in the world. Thank you, Mark, once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to everyone else, and thank you for supporting AI4Autism. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.